Hey everyone. This is Six Path Weeb, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we continue our fanfic journey with an exciting concept. What if Kaguya had a third child? Part 2. In this series, we dive deep into alternate possibilities, exploring how a single change can reshape the entire story, its power balance, and the fate of every character involved. If you enjoy unique twists, intense theories, and immersive storytelling, you're in the right place. Disclaimer. The content on this channel is created purely for entertainment and discussion purposes. I do not own any anime footage used in my videos. All rights and credits belong to their respective creators and copyright holders. Now, let's begin. It was a peaceful day in the village of Konoha, where sunlight warmed the rooftops and laughter drifted through the busy market streets. Merchants called out cheerfully, children skipped between stalls, and everything felt calm and ordinary. That is, until a golden blur rushed past. A gust of wind followed in its wake, rustling baskets and sending a few loose vegetables tumbling. Startled voices rose in surprise, though no one was hurt. Before anyone could truly make sense of it, the blur had already vanished around a corner. That blur was Naruko. She ran swiftly but carefully, her movements light as a breeze. In her arms, she carried a bundle of produce, not stolen, but gathered from places where kind shopkeepers had quietly left extras aside. Some villagers still misunderstood her, and she didn't want to cause worry or trouble. Naruko's heart beat fast, not from fear, but from excitement. She climbed the worn steps to her small apartment, her sandals tapping softly against the stone. The building wasn't grand, with its faded paint and cracked walls, but to her, it was home. Taking a breath, she opened the door. A flash of red rushed toward her. "One-san," Mito cried happily, wrapping her arms around Naruko. Naruko laughed gently, steadying herself as she hugged her little sister back. "I'm here, Mito. I didn't take too long, did I?" Mito pulled back, her violet eyes sparkling with curiosity. "Where did you go? Did you get the food? Did anyone see you?" Naruko smiled softly. Easy. I went a bit further into the market today, that's all. But everything is fine." Mito's expression shifted from worry to hopeful excitement. Before she could even ask, Naruko gave a small, playful grin. "And yes," she said, holding up a small wrapped bundle, "I brought ramen." Mito's face lit up like the morning sun. "Arigato, one-san." Naruko chuckled, her eyes warm. "We'll eat soon. But first, we have somewhere to be." Mito nodded eagerly. "Right. Gigi wanted to see us." Naruko's smile softened as she thought of the village leader, Hiruzen Sarutobi. He had always tried to help them, even when things were difficult. "Hi," Naruko said gently. "Let's go." Inside the Hokage's office, the room was quiet and filled with soft light. The Hokage sat behind his desk, thoughtful but kind. A knock came at the door. "Enter," he said. Naruko and Mito stepped inside. Naruko stood calmly, her golden hair catching the light, her bright eyes steady. Mito stood beside her, holding her sleeve with quiet excitement. "Hokage-sama," Naruko said respectfully, bowing her head slightly. "You wish to see us?" The Hokage gave a gentle nod, though his expression held a trace of concern. "Yes, Naruko-chan. I wanted to speak with you both about the academy." Mito leaned forward eagerly. "We're starting soon, right?" The Hokage paused, choosing his words carefully. "Mito will be able to attend," he said softly. "But, Naruko, you will not be allowed to join just yet." The room fell quiet. Mito's eyes widened. "What? That's not fair." Naruko placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. "Mito," she said calmly. Though her voice was steady, her eyes showed determination rather than anger. "May I ask why, Hokage-sama?" she said politely. The Hokage sighed softly. "Some in the village are still unsure. They worry because they do not fully understand you. It is not your fault, Naruko, but they need time." Naruko was silent for a moment. Then she smiled, not sadly, but with quiet strength. "I see," she said. "Then I will simply have to show them who I really am." Mito looked up at her, surprised. "One-san." Naruko knelt beside her and smiled warmly. "You'll go to the academy, Mito. You'll learn everything you can. And I'll train too, in my own way." Her eyes sparkled with determination. "One day," she said, "I'll become someone the whole village believes in." The Hokage watched her, a gentle smile forming. "I believe you already are," he said. Naruko stood tall, her spirit bright and unshaken. Though her path might be different, she would walk it with courage, kindness, and hope. And deep in her heart, she knew her story was only just beginning. Gigi, Mito cried, her voice trembling. Please, you can't do this to Wani-chan. She never meant to cause trouble at the orphanage. What am I supposed to do without her helping me? Tears shimmered in Mito's eyes as she looked between the Hokage and her sister. Naruko stood quietly, though her bright blue eyes held a storm of emotions. She wasn't angry in a loud or frightening way, but there was a deep hurt there, the kind that comes when a dream feels just out of reach. The Hokage, wise and gentle, folded his hands together. His face was calm, but his heart was heavy. He cared deeply for Naruko and Mito, and this was not an easy moment. Mito-chan, he said softly, please wait outside for a little while. I would like to speak with Naruko alone. If she wishes, she can share everything with you afterward. Mito hesitated. She looked at Naruko, her lip quivering, before rushing forward and wrapping her in a tight hug. I'm so sorry, Wani-chan, she whispered. Naruko's expression softened. She gently returned the hug, patting Mito's back reassuringly. It's okay, she said quietly. I'll be all right. Mito nodded, though she didn't look convinced. She wiped her tears and slowly stepped out of the office. Once the door closed, silence filled the room. Naruko turned back to the Hokage. She stood tall, even though her heart felt uncertain. I know what you're thinking, the Hokage began kindly. And I know this has been difficult for you. I wish things could have been simpler. Naruko took a breath. I just wanted to do something good, she said. I wanted to help people and become someone the village could rely on. And you still can, the Hokage replied. Naruko blinked, surprised. He leaned forward slightly, his eyes warm. Let me ask you something. What would you do to become a shinobi? Naruko didn't hesitate. I would work as hard as I can. I'd keep trying, no matter what. And what matters most to you? He asked. She smiled faintly. Mito. And the village. I don't want to lose either. The Hokage's expression brightened, clearly pleased with her answer. That is exactly why I believe in you, he said. There is another path you can take, one that will allow you to grow, learn, and protect others in your own way. Naruko tilted her head. Another path? He nodded. You can begin special training under my guidance. It will be different from the academy, but it will help you become strong, wise, and capable. Her eyes widened, hope flickering within them. Really? Really, he said with a gentle smile. But it will require patience and dedication. Naruko straightened, determination replacing her earlier doubt. I'll do it. I won't give up. I know you won't, the Hokage said. He paused, then added with a knowing look, and perhaps you can also tell me about your late-night training in the forest? Naruko froze for a moment, then let out a small, sheepish laugh. You knew about that? I notice more than you think, he replied kindly. Naruko rubbed the back of her head. I just wanted to get stronger on my own. I didn't want to cause any trouble. There's nothing wrong with wanting to improve, he said. But you don't have to do it alone. Naruko nodded slowly. I understand. Good, the Hokage said. Now go. Mito is waiting for you. Naruko turned toward the door, her steps lighter than before. When she opened it, Mito was right there, looking anxious. Well? Mito asked. Naruko smiled brightly. Everything's going to be okay. Mito's face lit up, and she hugged her again. As they walked away together, Naruko felt something new growing inside her, not just determination, but hope. A different path lay ahead, and she was ready to follow it, one step at a time. With Mito, she felt deeply sad. There was no simpler way to describe the storm of feelings in her heart. On one hand, her brother would not be going to the academy with her. She couldn't imagine spending so many hours each day without him. Even more, his biggest dream had been taken away, and that made her chest ache. She had always imagined them side by side, learning together, laughing together, becoming the greatest ninja team anyone had ever seen. Then suddenly, her head lifted, and her tears stopped. That's it, she exclaimed, springing to her feet with newfound energy. What is? She turned quickly, her voice catching in her throat as she saw her brother standing there. Her face brightened instantly, and all her worries faded as she rushed forward and wrapped her arms around him in the tightest hug she could manage. Oni-san. I have the best idea. I'll teach you everything I learn at the academy every day when I come home. You'll learn everything I learn. And when I become Hokage, I'll make you a Jonin. Her brother blinked in surprise, watching as her proud smile grew wider and wider. Why does she care so much? He wondered quietly. Oni-san? She asked, gently nudging him. He came back to himself and looked at her. His face remained calm and still, but his eyes told a different story. Mito had always understood him through his eyes. They were warm. They were happy. Slowly, he wrapped his arms around her and, in a soft voice full of feeling, whispered, "Thank you so much." 1 week later. Mito skipped happily along the path to the academy, humming a cheerful tune. The sunlight seemed brighter today, and even the breeze felt like it was encouraging her forward. When they had gotten home that day, her brother had explained everything. He would not attend the academy, but he had been given a special path, one where he could learn in his own way and grow strong in his own time. She had been happy for him, even if a tiny part of her wished they could still spend every day together. When she asked how this was possible, he had explained gently that there were many ways to become a great ninja, and some paths were simply different from others. Thinking back on that moment still puzzled her a little. She had thought his hug was because of her idea to teach him, but maybe it meant something more. Still, one thing was certain, that hug had filled her with warmth and determination. She smiled to herself. One day, she would understand it fully. Just then, the academy bell rang. Oh no! I'm going to be late on my first day. She dashed forward with all her might, her laughter trailing behind her as she searched for class 302A. After a little running and a few wrong turns, she finally found it, just in time. With Naruko. The third Hokage watched the young girl carefully as she entered and bowed politely. His expression was kind, but thoughtful. He wanted to make sure she would be guided in the best way possible. Naruko-chan, it's good to see you, he said with a gentle smile. Naruko looked up, her bright eyes full of curiosity and determination. Standing beside the Hokage was a masked ninja who stepped forward and spoke in a calm, steady voice. Naruko Uzumaki, it has been decided that you will receive special training under our guidance. Because of your hard work and dedication, you have been chosen for a unique learning path. Naruko listened closely and gave a respectful nod. There is something important you should understand, the masked ninja continued. This training will be challenging. You will need patience, focus, and a strong heart. There will be many lessons to learn, and each day will ask you to do your very best. Naruko's lips curved into a small, excited smile. I understand, she said. I'm ready to learn. I want to become stronger, step by step. The Hokage's eyes softened as he watched her. That's the spirit, Naruko-chan, he said warmly. Remember, true strength comes not just from skill, but from kindness, perseverance, and believing in yourself. Naruko nodded once more, her determination shining brighter than ever. I won't give up, she said. I'll do my best every day. And with that promise in her heart, her journey began, one filled with learning, friendship, and the quiet courage to grow into someone truly special. It was amazing, truly, the way she moved. Naruko seemed to glide rather than step, flowing from one place to another like a gentle stream winding around smooth stones. There was no harshness in her motion, no strain, only a quiet grace that felt almost like music carried on the wind. Anyone watching might have thought they were witnessing a beautiful dance rather than a test of skill. The others around her paused, not out of fear, but out of wonder. Naruko's focus was steady, her golden eyes bright with curiosity rather than anger. She wasn't trying to overpower anyone. Instead, she moved carefully, guiding each moment as though she were solving a puzzle. A wooden practice blade swept toward her, and with a light step, she shifted just enough for it to pass by harmlessly. Not a single strand of her bright hair was disturbed. She smiled softly, as if pleased by how much she was learning. One by one, the older trainees stepped back, lowering their practice weapons. It wasn't defeat they felt, but respect. Naruko had shown them something new, not strength, but balance. At the edge of the training ground, a tall instructor known as Tiger watched quietly. His sharp eyes softened just a little as he observed her. Directive 7, he said gently. The other instructors nodded and began tidying the training area, collecting the wooden tools and helping the trainees regroup. There was no urgency, only calm purpose. Tiger then walked over to Naruko, who stood there catching her breath, her small frame steady despite the long session. She turned to him, her expression hidden behind a simple practice mask, though her voice carried clear curiosity. Is it always this easy? She asked. Tiger paused before answering. He looked around at the others, some talking, some laughing, all learning. It shouldn't feel easy, he said thoughtfully, but that doesn't mean it has to be hard in the way people expect. What you're discovering isn't just skill, it's understanding. Naruko tilted her head slightly. Understanding? She repeated. Yes, Tiger replied. You're learning how to move with the world instead of against it. That's something many spend years trying to grasp. Naruko looked down at her hands for a moment, then back up again. A small, determined smile formed on her face. Then I'll keep learning, she said. Tiger nodded, a quiet sense of pride in his eyes. And as the sun dipped lower in the sky, the training ground filled not with tension, but with the warm feeling of growth, where every step forward, no matter how small, was something to celebrate. The child nodded slowly, her hand rising to rest gently over her heart. I feel something, but that isn't what I'm asking. Tiger tilted his head, a flicker of concern crossing his gaze. Then what do you mean? The blank mask in her hands lowered as she looked at her reflection in its smooth surface. Why does life feel so fleeting? She asked softly. Her voice was quiet, yet it carried enough weight that everyone nearby paused to listen. Is this really all there is? Rushing forward, always trying to be stronger, always afraid of falling behind? Tiger remained silent, realizing she wasn't truly asking him. She was thinking aloud, trying to understand her place in the world. The others returned to their tasks, but he stayed, watching as she searched for her own answers. I think there has to be more, she continued, her voice growing steadier. There has to be something worth protecting. Something that makes all of this matter. Later, in the Hokage's office, a calm voice spoke. Report. Tiger appeared and bowed respectfully before Hiruzen Sarutobi. Hokage-sama, mission complete. Hiruzen nodded thoughtfully. And the secondary objective? Tiger glanced at the small figure standing quietly beside him. Successful. The new recruit is ready. With your authorization and my recommendation, she can begin next week. Hiruzen's eyes softened as he looked toward the child. Very well. Report on Monday at 700 hours for your first official assignment. In a blink, the room emptied, leaving only Tiger behind. Hiruzen leaned back in his chair, exhaling slowly. How was she? She exceeded expectations, Tiger replied. The Hokage gave a small nod. That is good. But tell me, how did she feel? Tiger paused before answering. She seemed thoughtful. Not overwhelmed. Just searching for meaning. Hiruzen closed his eyes briefly. Keep an eye on her. We must guide her carefully. Strength is important, but so is kindness. I understand, Hokage-sama. That evening, the young girl moved lightly across the rooftops of the village. Her heart felt lighter than before, filled with a quiet excitement. She reached up and removed her simple mask, revealing bright, determined eyes. Naruko Uzumaki smiled to herself. I'm finally ready, she whispered. She paused atop the academy roof, hearing familiar voices below. Curious, she peeked over the edge. In the training yard, a girl with vibrant red hair stepped confidently into the ring, followed by a boy with dark hair and a focused expression. You better get ready, Sasuke. The girl called, raising her fist playfully. I'm going to win again today. The boy smirked, stepping into position. We'll see about that. Sasuke Uchiha watched her carefully, knowing she was full of surprises. The two began their practice, moving quickly but with control, each trying to outthink the other. Their movements were lively, more like a dance than a fight, filled with energy and determination. Naruko watched from above, her smile widening. This is it, she thought. This is what matters. Growing stronger together, protecting each other, and never giving up. For the first time, the questions in her heart didn't feel heavy. They felt like the beginning of something bright. The practice match had been lively, but in this story, everything unfolded a little differently. Naruko stood in the training yard, brushing a strand of golden hair from her face. Her bright eyes sparkled with determination, but there was also a playful warmth in them. Across from her stood Sasuke, calm and focused as always. They both moved at the same time. Naruko darted forward, light on her feet, and when Sasuke tried to outmaneuver her, she spun gracefully, catching his wrist. With a clever twist and careful balance, she guided him over her shoulder. Instead of falling hard, Sasuke landed neatly, regaining his footing with surprising agility. Naruko blinked in mild surprise, then grinned. Sasuke adjusted his stance, clearly impressed. He stepped forward again, but Naruko was ready. She shifted aside, And though their movements were quick, they were controlled, like a dance they both understood. Each motion showed not just strength, but trust. They paused for a moment, catching their breath. Naruko placed her hands on her hips and laughed lightly. "You're getting better, Sasuke." He gave a small nod. "So are you." They stepped forward again, but just as they were about to continue, their teacher's voice rang out. "That's enough. It's a tie." Their instructor, Iruka, smiled warmly as they approached. "You both did very well," he said. "Now, can you tell me what you learned?" Naruko scratched the back of her head, her grin returning. "I thought I had everything figured out too soon. I shouldn't assume the match is over." Iruka nodded approvingly and looked at Sasuke. "I rushed in without thinking carefully," Sasuke admitted. "I need to stay focused the whole time." "Excellent," Iruka said. "Understanding your mistakes is how you grow." Naruko beamed, clearly proud, not just of herself, but of her classmate too. After class, she skipped out through the gates, humming a cheerful tune. The sunlight warmed her face, and she stretched her arms happily. It had been a good day. Then she spotted her older brother waiting nearby. Her face lit up instantly. "Oniai-san," she called, running toward him and wrapping him in a big hug. "I missed you today." He smiled gently, patting her head. Naruko pulled back, eyes shining with excitement. "Guess what? Sasuke and I tied again. It was amazing, you should have seen it." She began describing every moment in great detail, her hands moving as she spoke, her voice full of energy and joy. Her brother listened quietly, a soft smile never leaving his face. As they walked home together, Naruko continued chatting about her day, her friends, her lessons, and even what she hoped to learn tomorrow. The village around them felt peaceful, and the sky above glowed with the colors of evening. Her brother glanced down at her, still talking happily at his side. Yes, he thought to himself, today was a very good day. Guys, that's all for now. If you enjoyed the content, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more. Thank you for watching. Regards. 6 Path Weeb.